today we actually have we've got Jake Robles, who has been in pest, alarms, and recently got into solar. Dude, Jake, thanks for hopping on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, dude. So I actually know you. We both used to sell at Aptiv before, right?
Yep.
You sold there for 4 years, and I remember thinking you were a stud. But then you went to Vivint, and you were at Vivint for 2.5 years, and you just got into solar. I'll give a few highlights, and then I'm excited to jam because you have some really cool content online.
Thank you.
And yeah, dude, I know a lot. There are some people who are like, I've even seen controversial videos. It's like, dude, how is that kid making so much in his first month? But dude, we'll get into it.
It's all a scam.
It's all, dude.
Good marketing.
Dude, summer sales, it's all a scam, right? Okay, so a few highlights, okay? Like, you were just barely at Vivint. You'd been there for 2.5 years. You got the most, was it sold or the most installed in a week?
Installed the most stills ever in Vivint history in a week.
How many?
45.
45 installs in 1 week.
Yeah.
Okay. And that wasn't any, that was you in a neighborhood.
Correct.
Not paying for online leads, anything like that. Okay. That's sick. You had the highest PRA in Vivint history as well. Okay. PRA, meaning average per rep, right? What was your guys' PRA?
110 account per rep average.
Which in alarms is crazy.
Yeah, like a typical average, like 35 accounts.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll want to, dude, it's going to be fun because I want to hear about the sales side. I want to hear about, the managing side. But yeah, you've got the sophomore record over there, and you were the number one recruiter the entire time you were at Vivint. But dude, I obviously know you from Pest, but a lot of people, have been watching your transition into solar. You guys did 86 deals in your first 8 weeks. How has the solar coaster been?
I like solar. I like there's a lot of unknown in solar for sure.
Okay.
Closing it is easier than anything else, in my opinion. If you believe in the product, I think you're going to sell at the highest level in anything you do. But I like it. There's a lot of bullshit in solar as well. There's a lot of pros and cons to honestly every single industry, and I'm completely unbiased about all industries. This is pros and cons in pest, alarms, solar. I think solar is the highest paying industry for sure. I think they have the worst systems, and it's the laziest industry.
Dude, I actually very strongly agree. Before we were just hopping on, I was saying individual sellers will make the most in solar.
Yeah.
Right? And that's just, dude, you can make so much off of such a big thing.
Yeah.
Like in pest control, you can rip a million deals, but you're still going to be limited to how much revenue that actually is. Right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, you've been doing it for 8 weeks. When you say the structure or like the systems in solar are the worst, what do you mean?
I just think that there's a lot of money in solar and that people go to solar for the wrong reasons. And so like in the industry, pest control guys are going to say, don't go do Vivint, it's too hard to sell.
Yeah.
Vivint guys are going to say, don't go to solar, it's going to die. The way solar people recruit is it's come work less, make more, right? You're just out there grinding, just drive to appointments, come chill. And then you realize that work less, make more isn't real. And so I just think that the solar industry is all the washed up guys that came from pest control or Vivint, and they went for the wrong reasons. And so I think there's just a lot of laziness in it. And so the back end systems just do not operate the way that they did for me in pest control and alarms, but I've still had a great experience. There's a lot of back end stuff. Like in solar, you go sell an account. It's like, hey, you just made 20 grand, but now you have to do a site survey. You got to check out their roof. You got to look at the trees. You got to see their sun hours. You got to schedule out a couple weeks. Like there's just a lot that goes into solar that people don't realize. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, but I guess none of the industries are.
Yeah, I agree with that. A lot of people are like, dude, solar's on its way out. Like, a lot of people don't like solar. Honestly, I freaking loved it.
Yeah.
And me being president of sales of a pest control company now, it's funny to say this, but like, dude, I didn't leave solar because I didn't like solar.
Yeah.
I just, I had 3 kids, I wanted to find a way to not move around, and I didn't want to live outside of Utah, and I didn't like solar in Utah.
Yeah.
So dude, I love solar. I love pest. I did 4 days at Vivint. I did a blitz. I got 8 installs.
Nice.
I think like 6 of them were Fortivas. I don't know if
Yep.
that's still a thing,
Yep.
but yeah, dude. Okay, so I guess let's go back to the beginning. Like how'd you get into pest?
Yeah.
How was pest?
16 years old.
You started selling at 16.
Yep. So I started selling when I was 16. Went out for 3 weeks. Did 100 accounts.
Okay.
I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
I made like 14 grand.
Wait, you
or
said
something
3
like that.
weeks?
4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
I made maybe $14,000. Went home, got a 6 sub in my car, bought a fake Rolex, thought I was the man, dropped out of high school. And then I was at a small company called EnviroGuard. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yeah, I have.
Aptiv recruited me. My brother-in-law worked at Aptiv. I went to Aptiv that next year. It was good. I did worse. I had longer period of time, but I did worse. I don't know why that was. I think that, at the time I blamed it on the market. Arizona was just too hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, the next year we went out, we did 500 accounts. That's when I turned to 18 years old. We did like 2,500 downline. It started going really well. Did one more year of pest control. The contract value switched from like us being able to sell it from 35 a month to like 75 bucks a month. Me personally, I didn't believe in that. The services stayed the same. I have a family member who owns a pest control company, and he convinced me, he's like, dude, you can't take care of mosquitoes. You can't take care of this. You can't take care of that. And I just got brainwashed on it. And so when I was trying to sell the product for 75 to 100 bucks a month,
You felt like you were scamming people.
in a sense, but I guess at the end of the day, I just maybe wasn't good enough at that time, because my whole entire pitch when I sold at Aptiv, why I got good. Hey dude, it's 30 bucks today, 40 bucks a month, or 105 bucks a quarter. Like, it was just super easy, super quick. That's why I was selling high volume. I never was really good enough to sell on value at that time of my career. I think if I went back now and I was selling $80 a month contract values, it's like
Easy.
It's normal. You know what I mean? But I transitioned out, went to Vivint. Honestly, Vivint was like the biggest blessing in disguise ever. I feel like for the first time in my career, I had a leadership that believed in me, which was really good to experience.
Yeah.
Just poured belief, poured into me 24/7. They're the ones who brought me up. It was the first time in my career where I sold a product I believed in. Now leaving Vivint, I look at the product and I'm like, it is crazy that I believed in it so much. And nothing against Vivint, but it's like, dude, $6,000 for an outdoor camera, and they're getting a hard credit check. It's pretty crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I 100%. Like, I have a Vivint system at my house. You know, I love it. It's great.
dope.
But dude, I got it with the employee discount. My brother, you know, he worked over there.
Yeah.
And I did a 4-week blitz. I was planning on going to Vivint, right? But yeah, dude, I got it for half price. You know, and so it was. I think I paid like $1,800. You know, just paid it cash. Didn't have to do all the credit pulls and all that. But I do really like Vivint.
Yeah.
And I think that for a lot of people, it does make sense. But you know, it's similar to pest control. It's like, just kind of like how you were saying, like, dude, $80 a month or $100 a month. It's like, when you actually think about like how much the product actually costs, you know what I'm saying? You realize it's all going to the sales guy, you know? And at Vivint, it's going to the sales guy. It's going to, Vivint does have to, like, I really like Vivint. Vivint's got a really big footprint, right? But yeah, you love Vivint, and then, yeah, I guess what kind of got you into solar?
Yeah.
What was that transition
So
like?
Vivint was like best experience in my career. Absolutely loved Vivint, loved my leadership. Towards the end of my career at Vivint, the last like 6 months, I just felt like a desire to get out. I started shopping, meeting with solar companies. My brother-in-law went to solar. He's like showing me, I'm like, and they're just pitching work less, make more money. And that's always intriguing to people. And I feel like when you're in the trenches and you're suffering because it's so hard, it's like sometimes we get distracted and we start looking at other options, which now in my career is like the worst thing you could do. You know, just keep your feet planted. But I just kept like praying, like, am I supposed to be here? Because I just felt uncomfortable. Like, maybe I'm just not supposed to be here. And I just kept praying. Like, I talked to my life coach and he goes, don't leave until you're forced out. Long story short, later into the summer, I get a call. I made a video online, me pitching Vivint. Customer says no. And I said, no, I'm just kidding. I'm with Aptiv, and we take care of Chris, Amy, 400 others.
I saw that video. I remember it.
So they called me, compliance called me. Again, people don't really understand compliance until you work at Vivint. Vivint's a publicly traded company.
Yeah.
It's like super corporate. Compliance calls me. They're like, hey, we have this video. And I'm just like laughing, like, so? They're like,
Dude,
yeah,
let me get back on the doors. Yeah.
you can't be saying this. You can't be recording customers' faces without permission. You can't be saying this. And I was just like, okay. I flew into Utah. They're like, you got to delete all these videos. Moving forward, you have to post like this. And I felt like my personal brand was providing more value than the people that I recruited, just like in my direct circle, to be honest, because I was impacting more people. And I saw the vision clearly. It's like, dude, if I can become one of the biggest influencers in the world to go preach the word, to go teach people how to sell, to teach people how they change their lives and have that platform, I'm never going to be a sell-off. And so midsummer this year, we're on pace to do 5,000 plus accounts. I would have made probably $1.2 to $1.4 million. Walked away from my back end, left all my reps. I called Jordan Binning, who's the owner of Newsun. I didn't even meet with anybody else. I just knew that if I was going to leave, I want to work with the best person to ever do this job, because there comes a time where it's like, dude, when you become like really good at the job, you want to work with the best people, like, because you want to get more growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I felt like the leadership I had at Vivint, I kind of exceeded them in certain aspects, not all aspects, but I called Jordan. I was like, hey, I want to come. Was in Utah, met with him. He's like trying to recruit me. I'm like, dog, I don't need to be recruited. Sign the docs. Let's make it happen.
Sheesh.
Flew out and did solar. First 8 weeks, we closed 86 accounts. And so that
Which
was
is
pretty
crazy.
Cool. And then midsummer, I was also recruiting. We ended up, we have like 50 new guys now. And I just did it while closing, managing the team and recruiting. And now we recruited like 50 guys, closed 86 accounts. It's been good.
Yeah, dude. It's been fun to watch. It really has, and it is a little crazy to hear you say like, hey, you're going to make 1.2, 1.4. That's kind of what you're on pace for, and to kind of just like, up and leave because, you believe in the personal brand. Like, why didn't you wait until, like, why not finish out the summer and like, get your back end?
Yeah.
Why was it so big of a thing that you just like left that much money on the table?
It's a good question. A lot of people are like, dude, you're so stupid. That's what my leadership's telling me is like, dude, just leave after the summer. Yeah. Obviously your leadership was going to say that, but they had my best intentions. My mindset was like, dude, I can't knock doors feeling like any second I'm going to get fired, because that if you get fired in this door-to-door industry, no matter who your leader is or whatever they say, you're not getting paid. And so I didn't want to keep going out there and work, knowing in the back of my head that at any time I'm on the verge of getting fired. And I've been praying for so long, is this the place I'm supposed to be? And so I felt like it was almost a calling of God. With that being said, though, it worked out in my favor. Yeah, financially this year, I'm probably cutting half, if not more than half, than what I would have made. But from like a human being standpoint and my personal development standpoint and the relationships that I built now in solar and my personal brand, going from pest control to alarms to solar, not from just a door-to-door marketing aspect, but from a sales specific general aspect. It's like, hey, I did it at the highest level here. It built a lot of trust in the door-to-door industry. Yeah. And I can say and I like to be a truther, you know what I mean? Like, try to be. Hey, solar is this pros and cons, Vivint's this pros and cons, pest control is this pros and cons. And I feel like it was almost like a calling to go and share that to the industry, because I feel like the biggest problem I have with this industry is recruiters hang on to their reps. And if you want to leave, you're a terrible person. Why would you be disloyal? That company sucks, whatever it is. I don't like that. And then when I did leave Aptive, I worked with Mitch Fry, blocked me. And it's like, dude, we were like best friends.
Dang, I'm sorry.
It's all good. When I left Vivint, never heard from them again. And so it's like, I just didn't like that aspect of the industry. When I left Vivint, it's like, yeah, he's stupid. He's this, he's that. And it's just like your name's getting bashed. And it was hard for a minute, but like the person that I became in it and the fire that it gave me again, because like, dude, when you go out and make 7 figures in a summer for your first time, it's like, all right, we're kind of comfy. Yeah. You know what I mean? And you could be a dog all you want, but it's like everybody gets comfortable for a short period of time until you get your fire back going. And so I just honestly think everything works out the way it's supposed to. My career couldn't have gone better. I've worked, in my opinion, with the best leadership ever to this job. Every single situation in my career, I wouldn't have traded it for anything.
Yeah. which is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, saying that you left behind $1 million plus back end and, you know, you wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah.
You know, it shows that you're in a good spot. And, you know, and you can tell, like, when people are, you know, focused on the right things and they're focused on, like, helping other people, you know, I'm a big believer that, like, that's when things are going to work out the most, you know. And it seems like you switching into solar, like, you have been able to have quite a big impact on people.
Mm-hmm.
So in the podcast, kind of like an underlying theme is, and you didn't hear the intro because it's already pre-recorded, but it's, hey, welcome to the Summer Sales Podcast, or you've tuned in to the Summer Sales Podcast, a training ground for salespeople to go from good to great to GOAT. And then there's like a bass drop.
Yeah.
But like the whole, like, how does a sales rep go from like good to great or great to go? Like in your personal experience, like, you know, for that rep who really wants it,
Yeah.
but hasn't been able to figure it out, regardless of what industry it is, like, you know, what advice do you have for that rep who's trying to take it to the next level?
Yeah. That's a good question. I'll give the tangible advice and the not tangible advice.
Cool.
First thing that I would say is never give up. To give you a background on my story, very simple. I was the guy that couldn't work hard when he didn't feel like it, couldn't control his emotions. So it's like on a Monday, I'm dropping 10. Tuesday, bagel. Wednesday, bagel. Thursday, bagel.
Friday you got to
10.
make up for
You know
the
what I
3
mean?
days of bagels. Yeah.
And so I was that rep. And
Dang.
so I just spent so much time in my trying to learn how to work hard. And it's like, oh, I'm just not a hard worker. How does Andy do it every day? Like, that's what I used to think. How does Brad Farr do this shit every day? Like, the untangible advice, when I say never give up, it's like life will unfold exactly the way it's supposed to for you. And I remember what happened for me is I went through a really hard breakup, and it put me in a position where it was like, I remember thinking to myself, dude, and I'm sure you've been in there when you were my age too. It's like, it's either drugs or it's death, you know, like take away anything else, you know what I mean? And so I made a commitment when that happened. It's like, dude, I'm never going to allow anything to ever control my emotions ever again. Okay. And it put me in a position where it's like, now I really leveled up because I was hurting and I didn't want to hurt again. So I learned how to control my emotions. Then I went to Vivint. Everybody in pest control, he's an idiot. Why would you guys follow him? Now all my guys are counting on me. My back's against the wall. I learned how to be a hard worker. And so it's like life unfolded for me. And so the first thing that I would say is, like, sales, whether people want to hear it or not, it takes experience. It takes time. You're not going to be the best to ever do it right off the bat. You might go out and be the anomaly rookie. I don't know if you know Jasper Armstrong.
Yeah, dude,
He's freaking goated.
over at Hawks, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You might be the anomaly rookie, but the next year you might suck at leadership. And the next year you might have to learn how to not be comfortable. And you might have to learn how to keep the foot on the gas. You know what I mean? And so that's the untangible advice. The tangible advice I would say is when it comes to sales, two things. One, sales is just a transfer of energy. And so it's like, if you're on the doors and you're in your head, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? This neighborhood sucks, etc. You're transferring an energy of desperation. When you're in a flow state, you just sold 5 doors in a row. It's like, dude, I'm the man. This is easy. I'm closing every single deal I talk to. You're selling everybody. And so it's like the only thing that you should choose every single day is to get yourself and commit to being in a flow state 24/7. And so that would be first base of advice.
Okay. And I want to ask a little sub question there. When you're not in a flow state, how do you get into one? Because there's going to be some rep who's listening who's like, dude, like, I really want it, but like, I'm getting smoked, you know? If I sold 5 in a row, I'd feel great and I'd be able to sell great, you know? Like, what do you say to that rep?
Yeah. So my pitch on it would be, you already are in a flow state. You just have things blocking it. And so what I mean by that is, like, if you get in a car wreck, is that a bad thing or a good thing? Right? Everybody's going to say that's a bad thing. You get in a car wreck and then you need to get to area. Now you got to pay your bills. Now you're on the door stressed out. Like, dude, I got to make money, etc. Does that serve you on the doors, that mindset? Not at all. And maybe it can push you, whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like most people, they get in a car wreck, they get pulled over on the way to area. The doors are going terrible. It's 7 o'clock. They have no sales. They can't stop thinking about how they're not making money. They were already in a flow state. Life and the experience of life put them out of their flow state because they attached to it. And so my entire focus when I'm on the doors to stay in a flow state is just experience life for what it is. Like, there's no good, there's no bad. I'm just experiencing it for what it is. Hey, I'm not in a flow state right now. Have you ever talked yourself out of a bad state? Probably not. Like, man, I'm just really in my head. Okay, I am confident. It doesn't work. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And so I just think that it starts from making a commitment to, I am just going to have unconditional faith that if I feel shitty, if I feel depressed, if I feel anxious, if I feel amazing, if I feel confident, just stay in the middle, stay grounded, just experience life for what it is. Stop attaching to things. And that's a really hard thing for people to twist their head around, because even like a couple nights ago, I was in a position where I was like, dude, I'm kind of like suffering right now again. You know what I mean? And I was like, what is the one thing, if I were to have someone give me advice, if I were to give myself advice, what would it be? It would be like, dude, let go of yourself. Like, it's not about you. Like, you feel shitty right now. How do you know that this isn't the perfect opportunity that's going to make you a billionaire tomorrow just because you learn how to overcome this? You never know. So you got to think big, right? And so I just think that you just got to stay grounded. You got to stay humble, let go of yourself. It's not about you. And even like coming into a podcast like this, it's like you get nervous to go on a podcast no matter how good you are at the job, no matter how many you've done, right? And it's like, all that I need to focus on is just go serve. It's not about me. Let go of yourself. Let go of your identity. Oh, what if I look terrible? Who cares? Go make a fool of yourself and be fearless in that. Just let go of yourself. And when you can do that, I feel like you can start focusing on what really matters, and the flow state is already there.
Yeah, dude, I feel like a lot of people talk themselves out of the job.
Yeah.
You know, like, dude, if you're not selling well, kind of like what you were saying, you start like focusing on the stress of this, or you start thinking you need a break or whatever. And it's like, you can't control whether or not people buy, right? You can't control, if it's basketball, whether or not the shot actually goes in, you know? Like, you can tweak all these things that you want, but ultimately, like, you know, the things that you can control, like, you're probably eliminating distractions on the doors. You're not checking your social media DMs on the doors, right? When it's the end of the night, rather than saying, hey, you know what, let's call it early so I have more energy for tomorrow, you know? Like, it's constantly like, how can I give more now?
Yeah.
You know? Like, I'm a big Michael Jordan fan. And one thing that I loved about the Last Dance documentary was everyone said, like, Michael's superpower was just like his ability to just be present. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I actually used that when I was, you know, knocking really hard, you know, when I was first kind of taking it from like, you know, good to great, you know, kind of going to that level, hitting my first golden door. Like, I would just constantly ask myself, like, is there anything I can do right now to fix it? And then what is the most important thing that I can do right now to get me closer to my goal? You know? And it's not, most of the time it wasn't sit in the car and, you know, take a 15-minute break to cool off, or it wasn't call some rep on the team or whatever. Most of the time it was knock more doors.
Yeah. It's the answer to everything.
They answered everything. Knock more doors.
Can I add to the presence?
Yeah.
Being present.
Yeah.
So it's like the best basketball player ever says it's all about being present, right? What is presence? So when I always had my biggest weeks, I always try to reflect. What was the one thing that changed? Was it my work ethic? Was it my focus? Was it I was just in a good mood? Was I hell on caffeine? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I look back at all my most successful moments, I was fully present. And so I started really like studying myself when I'm present. And what does present mean is you're walking with the presence of God, meaning he is now flowing through you. Okay. So what would the opposite of presence be is fear. Every time you're in your head, man, what am I doing wrong? Why is it going like this? The area sucks, etc. It's all stemming from fear. I want to have results. I want to be liked. I want to be good enough, right? I don't want rejection. Based off my beliefs, fear is how the devil controls you. And so if you learn how to remove fear, then you're walking with the presence of God. And so when it comes to being present, when you're present, God flows through you. There's times when people knock on doors like, how the hell did I just pull that off? And they think that they're just a dog and they're a beast. It's like, no, God was just flowing through you like it was meant to be. You allowed him to work through you.
What's interesting, dude, okay, so like I will repeat these words in my grave, like my affirmations from my first golden door year, okay? I am 1,000 level rep. God and the universe want me to hit 1,000 accounts. I can't control what other people think of me. I can only control my own actions. Okay. And like the first one, you know, I'm 1,000 level rep, like act like 1,000 level rep, become 1,000 level rep. So, you know, I'm currently acting like one, so I'll hit it, right? But what was really interesting is that second piece, you know, God and the universe want me to hit 1,000 accounts. I believe that God wanted me to be successful, you know, and for anyone who's not religious, like, you know, if you want to say like the universe, like, you know, karma, whatever, like if you're doing things right, then you're supposed to get like higher levels of success.
For sure.
Right. And so I don't know. I think it's interesting because it's a common theme. Like people who are extremely successful in door to door, you know, I actually do think that there is a belief in something like I maybe it's self-improvement.
Yeah.
Maybe it's, you know, I don't know, like proving something to a higher being. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting hearing you kind of take that religious approach because I don't know, like most people online probably like people who follow you and who are watching your videos, they're probably not thinking, you know, that you're a super religious guy,
Yeah.
you know?
I agree.
Yeah. And is that like, is that intentional? Like, I guess kind of shifting, you know, like when you're building your own brand, you know, like what's your strategy there? Cause I can tell just talking with you
Yeah.
that religion is very important and self-improvement is very important to you.
Yeah.
Right. But like, yeah. I guess I kind of want to hear your strategy with like social media and like
Yeah.
why doesn't that come out more?
I would say it does come out. I'm just not using the words. And so what I mean by that is who are like the people you look up to that are the most attractive, right? You look at like people that are super famous, like Andrew Tate, Donald Trump, etc. One thing they all have in common is their energy is attractive. And so it's like, where does that energy come from? And I've just learned through experience that energy is a God-given energy when he's working through you. And that's just how it is. And so my strategy on social media is remove fear and be authentic. Why? Because when I'm authentic, I'm fearless. When I'm present, authentic, God flows through me and he does what he's supposed to do. And it doesn't always happen that way. Like it's hard to not have fear. I'm not going to say that it's not, but strategy on social media from myself is just being as authentic as I can possibly be and trying to not care what people think.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you just said it's hard to like not have fear.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Like, how do you kind of get over that? Because, dude, I know what it feels like to wake up and just have that pit in your stomach, you know, and that anxiety of, you know, the accounts that are on route or, you know, your pipeline in solar, you know, you got some installs going through, whatever, you know, like, how do you kind of work through that?
Yeah. I would say, I mean, cliche advice, just embrace your fears head on. Because you walk into a position, you're about to public speak. You feel tons of fear. It's paralyzing you. It's crippling you. Okay? What are you afraid of? It's like, I'm going to go on this stage and make a fool of myself. That's what I'm afraid of. So I go on this stage. It's taking over my body. I might pass out. I might throw up. Something terrible might happen. But I am willing to experience that. I am willing to make a fool of myself, embarrass myself, and just and tackle it head on. Because the way that you remove fear is you starve it. If you just let fear dictate your actions forever, you're just feeding it, and where focus goes, energy flows. Okay? And so if you stop starving the fear, what people would realize is that voice will go away. And so the way that I learned this, and it's kind of dumb, but when I went through my breakup like 4 years ago, I got into cold plunge sauna like super big time.
Okay.
And I would go into the sauna 200 degrees for 45 minutes. A normal person's in there for 25 minutes, they're about to faint. I was on the verge of fainting, but I was committed to never listening to the fear again. I was willing to die in that sauna to remove my fear. And then I go do the cold plunges. I go underwater, hold my breath, stay in there as long as I could. My body's like, dude, you're going to faint. It's like this, you're going to die, whatever. I was willing to die to never let fear control my life again. And what I realized is like, once you stop feeding that voice, and so it's like your actions are either going to be fear-based, meaning I walk into this podcast room, it's like I need to be someone I'm not because I'm afraid that I'm gonna look stupid on camera, or it's like, hey, I suck right now, let's just suck. If I'm not in a flow state right now and I don't have nothing to give, let's just give that. You know what I mean? You make a decision either way. Once you stop feeding that voice and letting it control your actions, it'll lose its grip on you. Starve it, it'll die.
And that allows you to truly be present.
Correct.
You know, like, you know, I'm thinking back to just other Michael Jordan quotes. You know, he's not worried about like all of his missed shots. Like he's not worried about the shot that he just missed, or he's not worried about like, you know, the implications of whatever's about to happen, because it doesn't help.
Yeah.
You know, you can't control any of that. So it's like, okay, dude, like, you know, just once again, control what you can control. Like, dude, you don't sound dumb, but like, if you came in here and made a complete fool of yourself, like, okay, you kind of can control that, but you know, the fear of that is actually going to make things worse. You know,
The fear is what will create it.
and what's crazy is like the doors aren't that bad,
Yeah.
but like how you feel off the doors, like trying to your body like wants to convince you not to knock.
Yeah.
You know,
For me, it's the opposite.
really.
For me, and I used to find a lot of peace on the doors. I've definitely gone through phases. Like
Yeah.
the doors were like my safe place. That's when you're really fucking good.
Dude,
You know what I mean?
That 100% resonates with me.
It's like you're only alone time.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean? But I would say to this day now, when I'm on the doors, I am so anxious because I'm so afraid of rejection. Why? Because my whole identity was built around I'm the best to ever do this. I'm the best sales rep on the planet. I'm this.
And if
so,
that gets disproven,
It
then
hurts.
your whole identity
correct.
is false.
Correct. And so, to be bluntly honest, I have built an identity around I feel loved and valued when I'm the best. And so, when I'm not the best, I am scared of what that's going to feel like, right? Because we have like blockages and we fill our voids with like results and success. And I'm still in the process of learning how to overcome that. But yeah, to this day, a month ago when I was on the doors, I'm anxious to the point where I'm about to faint. Like I'm so scared to knock doors. And I'm just afraid of rejection. But when I'm on the doors now, it's not like it's like, okay, I want results, yes, but I rather not feel this fear. And so I'm going to use the doors to embrace the fear, to go be fully authentically myself on the doors so I can starve the voice.
Well, I also think that like you can use those fears to like truly become a better person.
100%.
You know, like when you were talking about like, you know, the fear in the morning or whatever, like you started going down one path that made me think like, dude, understanding your fear, like why is that fear there, is actually super important to like overcoming it.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, you know, you wake up in the morning, like, why are you stressed out? Well, it's because I'm worried that I'm not going to get any deals. Okay, well, why does that, you know, if you don't get any deals, and just kind of like going down that rabbit hole, and you can kind of like find, you know, your insecurities as like a person.
Yeah.
You know, but like, how have you used this job to like overcome that, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Because like, you know, you're a stud, but everybody has had, you know, issues and insecurities throughout their lives, you know.
I would say the best reps are the most messed up people.
Dude, there's probably a lot of truth to that. I
Like
can
these
actually
guys
see
just
that.
go out every day and they're just dogs. It's like, you don't know the back end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As far as like how I've used the job, I think when I first started, the number one piece of advice I gave people and myself was just be conscious of where you struggle right now. Do I struggle at confidence? Do I struggle at working hard and I don't feel like it? Do I struggle at my pitch? What do I struggle with? And at nighttime, it was like, hey, I struggle at confidence. So the next 2 weeks, I'm going to commit 30 minutes a day to learn how to build more confidence. It was affirmations. It was keeping the promises I made to myself, etc. And now it's like, cool, I built the confidence. Now I got this prom. And so that was step one. But then once you get to like, once you just get older, you just start realizing that, I mean, sales is all a transfer of energy at the end of the day. If you're present, you're going to sell. If you're fear-based, you're not going to give the shit away for free. And so I just use I use life as a vehicle and tool to free myself. Every situation you get in life, whether you're at the grocery store, whether someone cuts you off while you're driving, is an opportunity to free yourself. Like, just experience life for what it is.
Dude, excuse me. Dude, it is interesting because like, it's not just the doors.
Yeah.
It's not just this job. Like, you know, I'm thinking about like the people who really take it from like great to goat. It's because they like choose almost like, I don't want to say like a higher life, if that makes sense. But like, dude, everything in life has meaning if you're that committed to what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know, hearing you talk's really, really cool, really fun. You've mentioned a lot energy. Okay. And I posted last night on Instagram, just like, hey, any questions for Jake Robles, right? And one person, he asked about your energy. He said, what's your diet like? You know, what do you eat to keep your energy levels up?
Yeah.
not completely like, so yeah, talk to me about energy. Like,
Yeah.
you know, answer the diet question, but also just like, how do you have such a positive energy?
Yeah. I'll answer the diet, but that's not where my energy comes from, to be transparent.
Okay.
But I do try to focus super hard on the diet. When you go to a customer's house, why do people buy? They buy because they have a problem and they trust you. That's it. If somebody trusts you, they are going to do business with you. That's it. When trust is high, speed is fast. When trust is low, I need to get a card. And so I've just committed my entire life to learning how to build trust at the highest level. How do you do that? Is you do things the right way. So it's like I can go on the doors and I can think to myself, what am I doing wrong? It's about me. It's about me. When I knock on the door, what energy am I transferring? Desperation. What if I knock on a door and it's like, I'm just here to serve? This 70-year-old old person, I gotta go quick. Dude, who cares about going quick? It's like, if you're in the best flow state of your life, you'll sell 10 accounts in 3 hours. You know what I mean? And so it's not necessarily the 12-hour days. It's what's your energy like for the time period that you're on the doors. And so I just think my whole entire life has been a commitment to just feeling good inside. And so to answer that question, it's like I've just committed to feeling good inside. How? By learning how to be present, like what we went back to. It's hard to explain by tangible things, but yeah. I just use life as a vehicle to experience it for what it is. The problem is that people say, I want this. When I don't get it, I feel shitty. When I get this, I feel good. So therefore, your energy is going to be up and down. You're in a flow state some days, then you're not. Then you're in a flow state some days. If you could just experience life for what it is and be present, which is called unconditional faith. Unconditional faith is the foundation of Christianity. It's like God's going to flow through you. The energy is God-given. Yeah. And everybody can tap into it. Every single person. Okay? But as far as diet goes, I pretty much eat whatever I want, but I fast all the time. And so I'll try to just eat one meal a day. I try to eat one meal a day, and I get my blood work done. That's something that I do. I'll check my testosterone levels, my estrogen levels. What am I deficient in nutrients-wise? That's my biggest advice, I would say, with diet, is fasting is really good because it gives you a clear head. And let me explain why. So, like, every time you're hungry, you're just addicted to food. Like, you're not actually hungry. And so if you're just fiending for dopamine 24/7, dopamine is like the number one receptor for energy. And so I would just say block out fake dopamine. I feel hungry.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Block out fake dopamine. I want to go deep into this. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, keep going. I just want listeners to hear, you know, dopamine is your biggest enemy in sales.
100%. And dopamine is also the greatest driving factor for motivation. It's like you want to wake up every day like a fucking animal and feel like the man all the time. It's like, dude, just block out fake dopamine. Because think about like when you're bored and you look at your phone, and then you're hungry, so you eat a meal, and then you're whatever people are doing with their fake dopamine, you're constantly chasing it because it makes you feel good short term. If you would cut out fake dopamine, you're just gonna have 10 times more energy. Because dopamine is your driving receptor of energy and motivation.
Well, and also like dopamine, like the way our, you know, minds were built, you know, for back to cavemen, you know what I'm saying? Like we weren't in a position as like just, you know, beings to eat 3 meals a day. You know what I'm saying? And so constantly our bodies, like they wanted food, they wanted these other things, because that's like the body trying to like protect itself because it doesn't know when the next meal is coming, right? And so what happens is when we're on the doors and we're going through a hard time, our brains still work the same way, you know? It wants to protect us from discomfort and harm. And so
Correct.
we seek the cheap dopamine, right? But if that cheap dopamine, such as social media, or that one toxic car partner, or whatever it is, sitting on the park bench, like not working, like all of a sudden, if that's the escape, then what does that make the job? It makes it like a jail sentence,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
But like the reality is, like if you treat the job like it's an enemy, then things don't go well.
For sure.
But if you treat it like it's your best friend, then I promise it will be.
For sure.
Sorry, just I love the whole thought process about dopamine, just because like people are always like, how do I, I'm having a hard time, like how do I work through it, or all these excuses about like why they can't be performing.
Yeah.
But it seems like is it just because you have like a bigger like outlook on life, like I'm still trying to understand the energy level a tiny bit.
I think that the energy is already there, period. You just have to learn how to tap into it. And it's nothing that you do, it's what you escape from. It's the things that you don't do. Okay? Like people can say like, oh, just get to bed at a good time, eat steak, and you're going to have all the energy in the world. To be honest, I've done the carnivore diet. I've done every diet you can think of. I've taken care of my health at the highest level. Sure, it helps, right? What helps way more is the God-given energy that he's already given us. And you just got to learn how to tap into it. As far as how to do that, just realize it's already there. What's blocking it? Okay, dopamine's one thing. I just think that the number one thing that I'll reiterate over and over and over and over and over is if fear controls you, you're controlled by the devil. And so of course you're gonna have an energy that like people don't want to be around. If you remove fear, if you're not controlled by the devil, who you're controlled by? You're controlled by God. Okay? If you're controlled by fear, you're controlled by the devil. If you're not controlled by the devil, then you're walking with the presence of God. It's like the reason that on social media, people have found my energy attractive is because my entire life focus is to not let fear dictate my actions. That's it. But like people don't understand that, don't think that big. Oh, the God thing, whatever it is. It's like, I get it. But if you want to tap in, learn how to remove fear and let God flow through you. Because I just show up and let God flow through me. Sometimes it's meant to be. Sometimes I'm supposed to have high energy. Sometimes I'm going to suck. That's okay. God is flowing through me. I'm not trying to control my outcome. I'm just letting it happen.
Where'd you learn all this? Is this just like trial and error? Or, you mentioned you had really good leaders in the past.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say I learned it through a lot of suffering.
Okay.
A lot of suffering.
That's a cool answer though.
Yeah. I think that, dude, I've just went through, and everybody's gone through hard times. I don't mean it like that, but
Yeah.
like just going through like really hard times, you just become wiser. And so it's like people go through hard times. Man, I went through this breakup. That girl was my life. I'm dead. I don't know if I'm ever going to make it again. It's like, dude, life unfolds 10 times more beautiful than you could ever imagine possible if you let go. And so my biggest advice would be fully surrender. Surrender to the experience of life and let it unfold the way it's supposed to. Because that's when the magic happens. The more you follow the truth, God is going to show you the vision. And what do I mean by that is, what do I mean by following the truth is doing things the right way, unconditional faith. If the foundation of Christianity is unconditional faith means what? It could mean, sure, you believe that Jesus is your Lord and Savior, sure. The way I look at it is I believe that everything is working out the way that it's supposed to. Why? Like, think about when you're in a car group and the guy's like, dude, this area is terrible and this and that. Does you want to be around that rep? No. Think about it from a God perspective. If everything shitty is going on in your life and you're like, man, this is terrible, this is this, but that shitty thing could be the exact reason that you're changing the world next week. It's like God doesn't want to spend time in your presence when all you do is contradict what he has in store for you. And so I just think that my life focus and commitment is unconditional faith. Don't let fear control me. Have unconditional faith that things are happening the way they're supposed to. And in return, I have unlimited energy that just flows through me.
Yeah. One thought, like, I guess when you were talking, I was imagining this like rundown apartment.
Yeah.
Okay. In this rundown apartment is your typical rep. you know? And like, dude, the kitchen's gross, whatever, right? In order to make, like, if you want to renovate that apartment and make it just luxury, gorgeous, right? What do you first have to do? Rip out all of these things and make it look a lot worse. You know, the construction phase is going to make things look way worse than even when it was just like an old, outdated, ugly apartment, right? But then because you tore everything down, you're able to build something amazing, you know? And so it's interesting hearing you talk, just because it's like a lot of people are scared about like the teardown. And that's why they stay with kind of like that very average, unimpressive, like oftentimes unhappy, like state of life, you know? But when you're willing to, I guess, you know, take things, like rip things up a tiny bit, I don't know, it can be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I could break it down.
And let's do
if
it.
that helps. So the biggest problem people deal with is they're too scared to let go, meaning let life unfold. And what I mean by that is from a young age, everybody went through different stuff, whether it was their mom left them. Now they have trauma that every woman is terrible. They're going to get left. It's just DNA, like how it works. Okay. Or maybe growing up when you played sports, when you were really good, your dad told you you're the man. And when you had a bad game, he told you you're nothing. And so we have built an identity our whole entire lives to create a version of ourselves that's accepted in a world that crucified a perfect man. Okay. And so when you become 25 years old and you're not getting the results that you want, everything is not going your way, it's hitting that pain point of, I don't feel loved when I'm not good enough. When in reality, it's like the only way to release this stuff is to feel the pain. Like we have tried to mold a version around ourselves our whole entire lives because we're too afraid to feel the pain. But it's like resisting the pain will cause more pain long-term than just feeling the pain. I know it hurts. You know what I mean? I know the pain hurts. I know it sucks not feeling like the man. I know it sucks that every girl leaves you. I know it sucks that no girl is interested in you. I know it sucks that you're the worst sales rep on the team. But so was I. You know what I mean? And I think that you just got to understand, where is this problem stemming from? Why are you so afraid to let go? Because you only feel accepted when you're acting in XYZ because you built a version of yourself in XYZ. You have to let go of yourself. And meaning, let go of the fear. I'm afraid to be myself and be authentic because when I'm myself and I'm authentic, these people think I'm arrogant. And these people think that I'm insecure. I'm afraid to let people see me be insecure because when in high school, I was the man. I was the football man my whole entire career. Now I'm not getting results. I'm too cool for this. I'm way too cool. I'm protecting myself 24/7. Let go. And just you got to let go of yourself.
Yeah.
And so commit to every time you hear the voices in your head, like, okay, I'm about to go into this podcast. This is just like me giving examples of me, right? I'm going to go into this podcast and I need to talk slower and I need to be like this and I need to sit like this. It's like, dude, just go be. Like, just be you.
Just go get in flow.
Just be you. And let God flow through you. Dude, if you go on that podcast, you make a fool of yourself, it's okay. Because, like, at the end of the day, I rather make a fool of myself than live in that fucking shitty-ass place ever again of suffering and fear and thinking that every single thing I got to do is perfect. I hate that. It's suffering. It's suffocating. And eventually, people will suffer more trying to fill the void than just feeling the pain. I feel scared right now. That's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you were the 10 on Monday, 10 on Friday, bagel every day in between kind of rep.
Yep.
Like, how did you, I guess, eliminate that fear? I just know, I know so many reps are in that spot where they're like, they're good, but like they feel trapped.
Yeah.
You know, like, was there a specific instance or a specific situation that like changed that, like for you as a sales rep?
Yeah. I think this question is like me asking you 4 years ago, dude, how do you sell 1,000? It's just like, you know what I mean? There's 1,000 things to answer to it, you know? But I mean, I would just like the advice that I'm giving to my reps is I'm going to sell the vision of where you can be as long as you just don't give up. Because I was the rep again that couldn't control his emotions, couldn't work hard, I didn't feel like it. The only thing that changed is life changed. I went through a hard breakup, learned how to control my emotions. It was suffering. It was the worst breakup of my life, right? And then it's like I went to a position where I felt unlimited pressure. When we feel a lot of pressure, some people are like, man, this is too much pressure. Everybody's counting on me. Can't even hang out with my wife. I'm a bad dad. You know how it is, right? But it's like pressure's a privilege.
and it puts your back against the wall when you got all these reps counting on you and you say, hey dude, come sell pest control, solar socks, whatever it is. You now have an obligation to these people. So now life unfolded where your back's against the wall. You don't have an option to not work hard. You don't feel like it. And so I went out the next year, and it's like my best year ever was like maybe 100 grand. The next year I made 530 grand. Life can change in like an instance as long as you let it do its thing. Like, stop trying to control things and just let life unfold the way it's supposed to.
Yeah, but I also think it's important to understand that, like, it is all a progression, you know? And I think one thing that a lot of reps do is they don't realize that, like, even though 100 grand might be enough this year, you know, like reps will be like, dude, I've already made enough money, whatever. But what you don't realize is, like, if you could find a way to do better or do more, like, that sets you up at like a higher place to start the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, had you not done well in pest, you probably wouldn't have done as well at Vivint, which means you probably wouldn't have done as well in solar, which means you probably wouldn't have had as much confidence in, you know, social media and your personal brand. You know, every success, like, is a key piece to the next success.
100%.
So, dude, I think it's super interesting. I want to hear your thoughts on leadership. Like you said, you know, in 8 weeks, you guys have closed 86 deals. Is that
I closed 86.
I was about to ask, was that you closing 86 or
we
you
did like
guys?
300.
Sheesh. Okay. So you closed 86 while also bringing on approximately 50 people. Okay. Like, yeah. Are they just following leadership, or, you know, is it more of you're just dang good at recruiting? Like, yeah.
I mean, there's a mixture of it all.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I don't want to boast, but I feel like anybody who's ever worked for me has had results that is like unbelievable in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, nah, it's not legit. It's like whatever it is, right?
Dude, all the BSers.
And I think there's a couple key factors to that.
Okay.
Number one is you have to lead from the front. That's just basic information, right? Number two, your job as a leader is to implement more belief into them than they have in themselves. I think one of the most important things, though, is the way that you train your people. Think about, like, if you're training somebody, hey, you should say this for this. And CEO guys training them like, no, you just got to be confident. This guy's training them. They go in between the doors thinking to themselves 24/7, I don't know what the fuck is going on. There's no structure on what they should focus on. And so I give my guys the pitch, and this is what I teach my people. This is the pitch. Don't switch it up. Say it word for word every single time. Why, though? It's all about training on psychology of why something works, because you can teach people how to do something, but if they don't understand why it works, it's never going to work, right? And so why is it important to say the same pitch every single time? Because you get the same responses every single time. You can start reading people at a high level. Okay, that's simple. The second thing is, like, hey, if you're in a good mood, are you selling? Yeah. If you're in a bad mood, are you selling? No, I can't give it away for free. So your only focus every single day should learn to be to get yourself in a good mood. And so 24/7, I have certain things when it comes to selling. Hey, if you focus on same pitch every single time and you focus on being in a good mood, that's it. You're going to go perform. Don't focus on this one liner. Don't focus on anything else. Focus on this. Rep calls me 4 o'clock. He's like, dude, I'm in this area, higher income. It's just not going my way, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, rep, what is sales? They like it. What is sales? Finding a problem, showing them that you're the person they can trust. Can they trust you when all you're doing is focus internally? What am I doing wrong? Why is this neighborhood hard for me? Or are they going to trust you when they think that you're focused on them? And so it's like your focus is in the wrong place. And so those are the 3 things that I'm teaching reps 24/7. Is sales is a transfer of energy, which is finding problems, showing them that you're a person they can trust. How do you build trust? You trust yourself. You do the things that you say you're going to do, right? Number 1, can you control yourself? Any person can be in a situation where it's like we can mislead the customer a little bit and make a sell. But I promise you, you're never going to be able to fully look a customer in the eyes. Like I have experiences where the customer's like, no, you told me this. No, I didn't, because I would never say that. But it's like, you talk about nonverbal paraverbals. It's like, where does nonverbal paraverbals come from? It's the conviction that you actually believe what you're doing. So trust comes from focused on the customer, not inwardly. If you're truly there to serve the customer's going to trust you, right? Be in a good mood and say the pitch the same word for word every single time. That's it. My guys call me, hey, what should I say for this? You shouldn't say anything for that. You should say exactly what I taught you.
Yeah.
Period. Because the second you start thinking, what should I say different? You're now thinking about yourself. What should I do to get a sell? No. The way you get a sell is by the customer feels like they can trust you. So I don't care what you say. I want you to go make customers' days as good as you possibly can. And when they buy, thank them so much. And when they don't buy, thank them so much. Stay focused on the customer. And that's it. And then I also think too, like in this industry, everybody wants to just recruit all the slapdicks in the world.
Okay.
That's just the truth, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I just think that the most important things to get high volume is, one, the leadership needs to be humble. And so whoever's at the top needs to coordinate with the leaders. Hey, we're on the same page of everybody. We're all on the same team. Like, you're not envying him. You're not better than him. We're all trying to get better. And I just try to keep myself and all my people on the same playing ground. Like, hey, we're all friends. We're all trying to do better. And I think the people that you recruit is probably the most important thing to have a lot of success in this job. I have 1,000 people in my DMs that reach out, I want a job. But it's like, I only take people that are just grateful to be there. I don't want someone that's like, dude, I'm going to come in and make $1 million. I'm sure you would. But it's like, I just want people that are grateful to be around, grateful for the experience. We're not complaining. If you have problems, like, yeah, we'll talk about it. You can complain all you want. But it's like, dude, we're here to get better. We're here to grow. It's not about the money. And that's the type of people I'm looking for. I much rather have you know this too. You much rather have the 30 account rep that sucks, but homie comes into correlation. He's just a beast. Like, just a good ass dude.
Dude, the dude who's just like giving his full effort, who's knocking, who's like
says he's knocking at least, right?
Well, no, my favorite reps, you know, at least in pest control, they're the reps who are like, you know, the 120 level rep that just like knocks the most doors.
Yeah.
You know,
300 doors a day.
Yeah, dude. And it just because, like, you know, I think those guys deserve to succeed.
Yeah.
You know,
energy is contagious.
Yeah.
And so if you have, I mean, it's very simple to say, like, you have a cancer on your team, but he's the best rep. I don't care if he's the best rep. He's not working here. And I'm very stern on that. It's like, dude, if you're going to work here, we're good people. We treat each other good. There was a situation yesterday where one of my reps is reaching out to one of my leaders. Why didn't you close that? Like, gone. He's one of our best guys. It's like, I don't want to deal with that. Like, we're here to win. We trust each other and we're in alignment. And when the energy's in alignment, I mean, yeah, you can pull off things that are just impeccable for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. One of the final thoughts, just because I know you got to get going here soon. Someone asked on social media about, like, how do you prepare for success? Like, whether that's planning. Here, the exact question, I'll just read it. Okay. How do you set up your next day/week/month up for success?
Yeah. Preparation is everything. I think if you have the mindset where you're 24/7 thinking about, like, how you can get better, that's the first step, right? But I think it's just, okay, today I came out and I'm a little tired. I'm not giving my best. I know that I need to focus on my sleep, little things. So tonight I'm going to make sure that I'm not on my phone before bed. Hey, tomorrow I'm going to commit to doing this, right? The biggest things that I would say is your sleep, your diet, and your phone time. And the whole preparation is to prepare to get yourself in the best state you can possibly be in. How do you do that? Is you take care of your health. Health is wealth. And so, I mean, I don't really have a tangible answer to that. It's just constantly trying to get better. Hey, last night, and this is true, last night I stayed up a little late. My mindset literally was like, okay, I have a big day tomorrow. I have some podcasts, some big meetings. But I'm laying in bed. I'm like, yeah, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, let's just scroll on social media. It's fine. I'm going to do fine either way. And now I'm out here and it's like, I'm a little tired. It's like, dude, what am I doing? And so it's like, hey, I need to commit just for the rest of the week. Let's try to get to bed at this time. Just little things like that. And the slower you go, the further you're going to get. I think people are always trying to do 1,000 things at once. I need to go to the gym and do the cold plunges and do this. It's like, dude, the slower you go, the further you're going to get. Do one thing at a time.
Do the little things right.
For sure.
Yeah. And I love that, because with all, like, super successful people in door to door, and I think just in life in general, like, the more, like, microscopic of a thing that you can focus on, like, if you're getting, like, down to, you know, the minute, or down to, like, the exact thing that you're trying to track, you know, it makes it so that way it's a lot easier to have success.
100%.
Because those are the small things that add up to the big things.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, so final question is there like, and I'll have the editor edit this out. Okay. Actually, is there anything that you want to be asked? Just kind of like as wrapping up, like,
I don't care.
okay. 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 So an editor, cut that part out. Okay. So final question. Anyone who's like hating online, okay? Because dude, when people see success, they want to, they want to discredit it so that way they feel better, And dude, I'll be honest, like even sometimes seeing some of your videos, I did solar. I'm like adding up. I'm trying to do the math. Like, dude, okay, so we got 3 deals today, and that totals, X amount in commissions. Like when people are either being douches or they're trying to like throw shade at you, like, yeah, I kind of want to just hear like how you work through that.
How I work through the hate?
Yeah. How do you work through it? Like, I don't know. Just what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah. I think that it's definitely made me sad at sometimes.
Totally.
I don't prefer it at all. I feel like when I first got into the game, I could care less what people think, and now it's like everybody's attacking my character. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's fake, it's that.
Dude, and just so you know, like I feel the same way. Like being president of sales over here at ProForce, like all of a sudden, dude, like all my friends in pest control, they've got something to say.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I thought we were homies. Like it does make you a little sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. Just want
it'll make you sad and it's like, am I that type of person? And maybe we can start believing it sometimes, And like sometimes we get defensive. It's like, all right, I'm going to show you my 2024 1099 because like everybody has something to say about solar pipeline, this and that. It's like, dog, do you not remember that like I got this 1099, And so as far as how to handle it, stop clapping back. Number one, like just don't reach out to people, kill people with love. But number two, why is it affecting you? Think about that. Like someone has something to say and it attacks my character and I get all defensive and it's like, I want to prove them wrong and like go be better now. It's like, dude, that's an internal problem. People are going to be haters no matter what. Like the only reason people are hating is they are suffering internally. Like think about going on someone's Instagram comments and saying like, you should kill yourself. You stupid. Like it's terrible. You know what I mean? Like they're hurting inside. And so one, just don't respond to them. But two, if it affects you, ask yourself, where internally am I not okay with myself? Because even though I'm having all this success, it's still not filling the void because I still feel it. You know what I mean? And so it's like, hey, I feel like this is affecting me. And it's like, dude, I need to focus on just being better. I need to be better with my friends, my relationships. I need to be more truthful. I need to be more honest with myself. I need to work harder and just keep trying to get better on yourself because if you feel really good about yourself internally, I mean, I don't think anything external should affect how you feel. And so if it does, I think it's a great indicator that like there's something internally, no matter how great you are, that like you have a personal problem that you should work through. So I just try to use it as an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I can tell that like you're not just like going through life, like you're being very intentional with it. Like every question that I've asked, like you've thought through it.
Yeah.
And I think that, just being intentional and not just like letting life happen to you, but like actually trying to, make the most out of life.
Yeah.
I think it's big. I know there's a lot of people who are going to want to learn more from you.
Yeah.
What's your Instagram handle? Where can people find you?
Jake.Robles.
Robles. Okay.
There you go.
And I'll put that in the show notes below. And then is the War Room, is that your guys'?
Yeah. So that's our region we're building.
Okay, cool. And that's War, WAR. Is it like two
underscore room?
4 underscores.
They'll find it.
Okay. War 4 underscores room. Okay. And guys, if you're listening and if something really stuck out to you, like on social media nowadays, like there is a lot of negativity, but like, dude, if there's something that you learned from this, like shoot Jake a message, go give him a follow, try to spread more positivity. Because like, dude, I'm sure you get plenty of like, dude, I love this, or like that was super helpful, those kind of things.
Yeah.
And that probably makes your day.
For sure.
So awesome. Well, hey, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.